The open motorcycle category now, and at round 1 of the championship at AA Kyle Army, there was a strong indication of things to come. This category would be dominated by motocross riders, and Gary Peterson on his Brasco Kawasaki set the scene. Most of the bikes are 250 machines with a few 500s thrown into the mix. One of them was Ryan Hunt on his 500cc Shell Honda, who seemed set to cause Peterson a few problems. But Peterson is an extremely quick and aggressive rider, and he made mincemeat out of the back markers, Hunt struggling to throw the big 500 Honda around the corners. Nevertheless, Hunt had Peterson worried, and the Kawasaki rider couldn't relax for a moment. Peterson took it from Hunt, with Michael Trussler, Peter Wrigglesworth, Wayne Smith and Ian Topless filling out the rest of the top 6. Some of these names would feature as the season progressed. Coming to Tarleton for round 2, the battle lines were drawn as Peterson took the lead from Topless, Glenn Tuntum and Alan Julian. Peterson on the Brasco Kawasaki and Topless on the Elna Fox Kawasaki soon pulled away, with a wild battle raging between Tuntum and Julian for 3rd position. This was real on-the-edge racing, the riders not willing to give an inch. This is the kind of stuff that's made Total Super Series such a success, as the action is wild and close to the spectators. Peter Wrigglesworth and Alan Julian were engaged in a desperate struggle as the leaders started to pull away. But Gary Peterson took his Brasco Kawasaki to another victory, ahead of the Elna Fox Kawasaki of Ian Topless and the Shell Honda of Alan Julian. For the rest of the season, the battle would be mainly between these 3.
Gary, taking the lead in the championship now, you must be satisfied?
Yes, Hendrik, it's a long year. Anything can happen. 3 hits, like you had 2 hits at Kyle Army, it's a bit unfair, you know, because like if you mess up in 1 hit, you can always make back with 2 hits still to go, you know. With 2 hits, you mess up in the 1st hit or the 2nd hit and your points are destroyed, you know. And I'm happy. I mean, I had to work hard there, and it's very cold here today, even on the bike. I mean, you can't believe your muscles are very tight and everything.
The next round took the riders back to AA Kyle Army, and a huge pile-up at the start allowed Ian Topless and Gary Peterson to quickly slot into the lead. Peterson was leading the championship from Topless, and with not a lot of love lost between the 2 title contenders, sparks were expected to fly. Peterson doesn't often make mistakes like that, but pressure tells in any form of motorsport, and Topless was quick to take the lead. This is what the spectators come to see. This battle was finally resolved in favour of Topless, making the championship position even closer. Kawasaki filled the top 4 positions, courtesy of Greg Aspinall and Russell Campbell. Just on the halfway mark in the season, and nobody would be brave enough to predict the outcome of the championship. The 2 protagonists who have emerged were Gary Peterson on the Brasco Kawasaki and Ian Topless on the Elna Fox Kawasaki, with Peterson tending to take the lead from the start and Topless chasing. At AA Kyle Army, it was no different, as Peterson and Topless scythed through the field, seemingly oblivious of anything else but their own private battle. Peterson only had to maintain a position ahead of Topless to remain on top of the championship standings, but one little mistake could upset that whole strategy. But things worked out as planned for Peterson, and he took it from Topless, stretching his championship lead in the process. Aspinall once again finished strongly, Gary Lipchik on the 1st Honda home. With only 3 rounds in the championship remaining, the riders knew at round 5 at Tarleton that anything could still happen. Ryan Hunt on the 500cc Shell Honda had the lead over Gary Peterson on his Brasco Kawasaki, but more importantly for the championship, Peterson had no Ian Topless to contend with. Topless recovering from a racing accident at AA Kyle Army. Further down the field, the spectators were entertained by a spectacular battle between Gary Lipchik and Alan Julian, both on Hondas. Lipchik's trademark Pink Panther must have been a strong source of inspiration for him. Greg Aspinall and Russell Campbell, both from the Panasonic Russell Campbell stable, also joined in the fun. While all of this was going on, Ryan Hunt on his Shell Honda had virtually no opposition, with Gary Peterson on his Brasco Kawasaki having no need to take any risks in the absence of Ian Topless. This was a setback for Topless's title hopes, but with 2 race meetings and 6 races still to go, all was not lost. Ryan Hunt celebrated a well-deserved victory, making good use of the power of his 500 Honda on the long straights of the Tarleton circuit. Peterson stretched his lead in the championship, while Campbell, Julian and Aspinall filled the top 5 ahead of Lipchik.
It started off a bit slow. Didn't do so well at the first one in Michael Trussler and all the extra, yeah. the first one I did, I wasn't performing so well. I got used to it. The second Tolton, I sort of paced Gary, the next Kalomia, beat him. Went off that, I beat him, and now I don't know, this last two I haven't been going so well. So.
But it's been tough, of course. You were competing in the motocross as well.
Yeah, no, with the motocross, actually I'm quite fit for this. This is not much compared to the motocross. The motocross riding helps this. The corner is a bit different. It's more like speedway, but it's just, yeah, more on the gas, the fastest bike's going to do it.
Topless was back for the penultimate round at AA Kyalami and giving it his all. But there wasn't much he could do about the Gary Peterson freight train. He was once again steamrolling all opposition out of the way. Peterson, who by his own admission was getting a bit long in the tooth for all of this, had lost none of his appetite for winning. So he did it again. Topless back on form but unable to close in on Peterson in the championship, Julian was third ahead of Aspinall.
I would say I've had probably the most consistent out of all the competitors, apart from being injured like for a little while in the middle of the year. But yeah, I think, you know, like really at every race meeting I've been a front contender, either with Ian or with Ryan, and I'm pretty happy the way it's gone. Maybe for next year they can change a couple of formats. You know, that's not up to me, but I think, you know, a lot of the top riders want to give a little bit of advice to Arthur, maybe to, I don't know, maybe make a track a little bit more technical, which I don't think is right, because then they're going to suit the motocross guys. This whole format started from like enduro riding, and I would like to see them stay like that.
Peterson nailed down the championship with another emphatic win at the final round at AA Kyalami, totally demoralizing the opposition in the process. The 1997 Open Motorcycle Champion beat Alan Julian and Greg Aspinall in the top three, while Ian Topless languished down in fourth position, finishing ahead of Brian Hunt, Errol Dalton, Gary Lipchek and Grant Bloomfield. In the championship, Peterson took the title with a margin of 48 points over Topless, who was 108 points ahead of Alan Julian.